Hi everyone, I'm Tanir and welcome back to StudySmart. Today I'm going to talk about GCSE additional maths and how to make the most of your resources and get the best possible grades. Additional mathematics is split into two courses that last a year each. So the first course is statistics, which we do in year 10, and then you sit the exam at the end of it. And then the second course is further pure math, which you do in year 11, and then you sit the paper at the end of the year. So since you do two courses, this subject is worth 2 GCSEs. Further math prepares you for A-level and IB mathematics because a lot of the topics are very similar. So if you do plan on doing maths at post-16 or studying further into it, then I would recommend that you choose this at GCSE and familiarize yourself with the content to make the transition much easier. We're going to start off by talking about statistics, which is the first course that you'll do in year 10. GCSE Statistics gives you the opportunity to broaden your knowledge in a key component of maths that is relevant to everyday life. The examination is split into two evenly weighted papers that focus on the same content and skills. This gives students and teachers the opportunity after their first paper to reflect on what they need to work on to strengthen their performance in the second paper. Statistics develops skills such as data handling, which you can use for other subjects such as geography, psychology, and science. And as well as this, it also reinforces GCSE math techniques and supports the progression into A-level maths. When it comes to getting the best grades and doing well in your final exams, I'd say that first, just like any other GCSE, whether that's further pure math, statistics, or even English, you need to make sure that you utilize your mocks to the best of your advantage and learn from them. The reason why I'm stressing the importance of mocks so much is because they allow you to experience what a GCSE is truly like. I recommend that you give it your all so that you can see what your results would be if you actually sat the GCSE exam. This opportunity also allows you to familiarize yourself with the pressure that you may face in an actual GCSE exam, and it helps you get rid of any nerves and ask as many questions as you want. Despite all of this, it also shows you what you really need to work on, whether that's time management or whether it's content-based things. Really use the mock period to your advantage to be able to fully prepare for your GCSEs and get the best possible grades. For statistics, my go-to revision technique was to do exam questions and past papers, and a lot of them. This allows you to familiarize yourself with the different type of questions that you might get, because in statistics there are various question styles, such as lengthy worded questions and drawing diagrams as well. Another thing that I need to stress the importance of is making sure that you're marking your questions as you go along, so you're getting that immediate feedback and you know what you need to add to get the best possible grades and see what an ideal answer looks like. So make sure that you are familiarizing yourself with mark schemes, especially because this is a subject that is new to you and you need to know how strict or how lenient a mark scheme can be. As you get closer to your GCSE and you see that you know all the content and you're just losing like little marks in answers, this is especially when you should start really studying those mark schemes and see what you need to add to get those final marks. You can find a lot of GCSE statistics, past papers, and specimen papers along with their mark schemes on Maths Genie in their statistics section. I personally really like this website because it also shows which ones were old spec and which ones were new spec, so that you can distinguish between what's changed and what the common themes are. The website also has notes on the different types of sampling and other things that you can possibly use for your own notes and studying. Another thing that most people don't realize is that they need to use their textbook to their advantage. So I'm going to show you a picture of the statistics textbook that we used for our course. And in this textbook there were corners that had examiner's notes, and these examiner's notes basically talked about the common mistakes that previous GCSE cohorts had made and what to avoid and try to get the best grades possible. So make sure that you do read those, especially towards the end of your GCSEs, and make sure that you're not one of the people that are making the same mistakes. Another resource I would highly recommend are the CGP revision guide and workbook. From personal experience, I would recommend that you use this after your mocks and towards your GCSE exams, because by that point you'll be done with all of your content and you need to have a refresher. Another reason why I recommend this is because by that point you'll be doing a lot of past papers, and once you mark them and you understand what you need to work on, you can use the revision guide and the workbook to master topics. But even if you don't use it after your mocks and before your GCSEs, it is very good to clarify anything that you don't understand from your actual textbook. Another piece of advice I want to give you based on my personal experience is to experiment with the way that you study and you take notes. The statistics course overlaps with psychology in some ways, especially with the types of sampling and testing for averages such as means, medians, modes, and what they mean. It requires a lot of understanding and memorization of different definitions. So to memorize those, I experimented with different techniques such as making flashcards and implementing active recall into my studying. We actually do have a video on active recall, so if you want some more information on that and how to implement it into your studying, then definitely watch that video as well. I also experimented by making mind maps and posters and just visually laying out my information, whether that was definitions or formulas, and I hung them up around my room and my walls so that I could always see them whenever I'm walking past. Another thing that the statistics course demands is for you to memorize quite a few formulas. So what I recommend is that you get into the habit of writing them out fully and practicing the skill as much as possible and doing as many questions as you possibly can so that it's drilled into your head. The last point I want to make about statistics is not to get demotivated, especially at the start of the course. So based on personal experience, I can assure you that it may seem intimidating, especially with all the new symbols and words that you're learning. It may feel like you haven't made as much progress as you wanted to, especially around the mock period, but please do not get demotivated by that either. That was your first ever experience of doing mocks. It is, of course, all new information and it will take time to learn, and that's why you need to keep motivated. Also, use the fact that you did your GCSEs a year early to your advantage and learn from the experience. Using these tips, me and a lot of my friends were able to achieve A-star grades, and I'm sure that you can as well. Now we're going to talk about the second course, which is Further Pure Mathematics. Further Pure Maths provides a strong foundation of mathematical knowledge for both candidates studying maths at a higher level and those who require mathematics in other studies as well. It's designed to stretch the most able candidates and provides a smooth transition into AS and A-level. The jump from statistics to further maths is something that a lot of students find very challenging, and I definitely did as well. It's very different to statistics and focuses more on actual pure maths and numbers rather than statistics, which consisted of long-worded answers and evaluations. To ease the transition from statistics to further maths, I would recommend that in the summer prior to the course, you have a look at some of the content and remember not to get demotivated because yes, a lot of it does seem very challenging at first and very, very new. If you want to do any work prior to starting this course, which I do recommend in this case because you need to get your basics, I would recommend that you work on your algebraic skills and surd skills that you learned at normal GCSE level math. I'm going to show a picture of the textbook that we used for our course now, and the textbook we use is very helpful and consists of the topics split up into exercises and exam questions separately at the end of each chapter. I personally found these very helpful along with the different examples provided. So for example, if I was stuck on something, then I would be able to go back to the basics and go back to the first exercises and build up to each exercise and get to the exam questions. This is also why I stress that knowing the foundation is very important to be able to truly understand and master the harder skills and tackle the harder questions. Once again, as I said for statistics, doing exam questions and past papers is extremely important because this course is very demanding and you need to have a lot of practice. Especially when you're not familiar with a subject like this, you need to know how to answer the questions and be familiar with the mark schemes and what they require. Mark schemes can be very specific at times, so once you're familiar with them, you'll know what you need to say to get the best marks. This will also help with your time management because you'll know what to write and what working out to show and what not to show so that you don't waste your time on a question that's only worth like 2 marks. We have now come to the end of this video. I hope that you enjoyed it and that it was helpful. If you have any questions, be sure to contact us through the email on our contact page, and good luck with additional math.